Okay, that's it.
I was really getting into
What?
the groove.
Oh, we can stop that. I didn't know we could stop that. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my weekly Meltdowns coverage of Survivor 45. And I want to say hello to Kylan in the chat, Linda, Thomas McGee, everyone. Thank you so much. And Eddie James.
Joseph.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. It is the finale and D1 Survivor.
Woo!
Yay. I guess.
Is somebody a little bitter that they lost their Survivor draft crown?
No,
Maybe?
but we all know who the real winner of Survivor is. So
Who? For those listening to the podcast version, Allison has spent her evening during this 3-hour finale photoshopping pictures of JoJo on the Survivor 45 buff.
this is how he looked premiere night of Survivor.
Aww.
And under the is the wear of him today. So little man, as you can see, is the true winner of Survivor.
There you go.
Yay, JoJo.
JoJo got his little Christmas digital ball he's playing with. It changes colors and makes noise, and it's like it goes under the couch and it knows it's under something and it rolls itself out. Don't ask me.
That's just
So do we want to talk Survivor first, or do we want to talk about our New Orleans trip first? Pick your
Time out.
poison.
Can you please say that again?
New Orleans.
The way you said it, please.
I
Say
don't even know how I just said it.
You
but
said New Orleans.
You went New Orleans.
New Orleans.
It was New Orleans.
I'm so sorry. I should have learned from Jemmy her infamous line in the Real World New Orleans intro when she says, "We in the NOLA, baby." Do we want to talk about that first before we get into Survivor and just kind of like
then we can
rehash
actually
our
talk
trip?
about the fact that we met these people. It was awesome.
Yeah. Well, I want to so Beth, like you and I have been to a few like RHAP events, so I want to hear first from Allison.
Yeah.
What did you think about the whole kit and caboodle? Tell us your thoughts.
Well, it's really cool to be, watching a show where you're seeing the actual people. And Kylan, by the way, patron, who is more than a patron, he's a friend. He hung out with us, watched a lot. He's amazing. I love Kylan so much. He is such a
sweetheart,
sweet, darling man, and I'm so happy and honored that we got to meet you and hang out with you. Love you to the moon and back. So that was the highlight. The number one highlight for me was meeting Kylan. And after that, actually sitting in a movie theater and watching the episode of Survivor 2 weeks ago where Emily got the boot and everyone cheering. And it was so much fun. It's not the same watching it now in the living room with my cats. It's not the same. It just isn't, but I've never felt that much energy. And it was not only were we watching it live with everyone, we were watching it with the cousins, which is code for the actual fucking people who are on the show. We were actually watching it with Jake, Austin, Drew, Emily, all of these people. And I got a picture with Drew and Jake, but I promised not to post it till after the finale. So I just decided not to post any of the New Orleans trip until after tonight. So I'll have those up probably the ass crack of dawn per usual. Right there. But it was amazing. God, New Orleans is dirty. It's so dirty, but it's so dirty, but it's fun. It was fun. I'm not a drinker. I didn't get to experience, do all that, but it was fun just, being with Beth and bunking up with poor Tyler with our pillow barrier. And I brought my black light to the hotel room and we were investigating everything in the room with my black light. And there's an awful lot of splatter activity.
On the wall, around doors,
around the main door, the doorknob, the mirror on the wall. And I'm just like, I think that's because of the wallpaper. And I'm like, okay, Beth, is the wallpaper. And then we had a TV that didn't work, and Tyler and I had a
Okay,
pissing
no,
contest to see who
it
could
worked.
fix it.
Stop it right now. It worked until somebody right here.
I don't know who you're pointing at over there. That's like the second time
you just
done
pointed
that.
at Tim in the other room. What are you
No,
doing?
I'm pointing to Allison right over here.
I'm
Allison's not over there.
I'm over. Now you got me doing it. I'm right here.
Really?
You're pointing away from Allison.
I don't know if you noticed.
so
I'm
weird.
not over there. I'm not in your tree. I'm not in your living room. I'm not in there with Tim.
No, that's actually really bizarre. That like, so I'm on my screen right now. I'm pointing to you. That's weird that it's like flipped for you guys, but not me.
Sounds like a Tyler thing.
But no, like New Orleans is like one of my favorite cities. So like to get to go there with the two of you and like hang out in person, and we had some beignets. We did a lot of walking. We got a tarot card reading, which was really cool.
Yes.
It was just a really fun, like spooky, like also like New Orleans, like during winter, like that's the time to go, because like other times have been in like the middle of summer. It's like hot and humid and miserable. It was
Buggy,
like not that busy. It was like a nice temperature. Like it was just a great time. Like I had such a good time on the trip.
Specifically in the beginning of December. So when we were talking to a few people at some of the visitor centers, they were saying that Thanksgiving gets expensive and Christmas gets expensive, but the lull in between, like the first couple of weeks of December, are the prime time to go, because we also got to see all these beautiful Christmas lights and Christmas trees.
Yeah.
So imagine like the ironwork of those balconies with like really beautiful wreaths and lights.
It was beautiful. And these two got to fly in. I drove 6.5 hours, and no one warned me about driving over the ocean or whatever the hell that was on that bridge.
The river.
Hour. Oh my God, it was
the Delta.
Oh, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I just kept thinking about, well, if I fly off this thing, that's it.
Actually,
I
would like to correct you, because I'd like to correct you, because I even said, I said beforehand, when you drive down, you'll get to go over that huge bridge, because we got to do that when I went up to like
Did you
Mississippi.
say there was water under it? Did you say there was water?
I mean, a bridge implies that there's some kind of
always have
undrivable surface underneath, usually water.
I'm dying on this sword over here. It was terrible, because I don't know, because I'm looking and I see these people living in houses on stilts, and I'm like, who wants to live out here? No one should live out here.
I'm trying to think about anywhere outside of like the Rockies in the United States, there would just be like a friggin' canyon or something that you would have a bridge over.
Listen, I thought I lost my phone at the beginning of the episode in the theater.
Jesus Christ. I'm so glad you're telling this story.
And Tyler and I went down and we were trying to find it. And who was it that helped me?
Franny,
Matt
and
Franny.
Matt and Franny?
Yeah.
Matt and Franny tried to help me find my phone. And who was it? Cassie? Cassandra?
Cassidy
couldn't be bothered to move.
Listen,
so I
when you're
could
the winner of
look under
Survivor
her
43.
to find my phone. But the other two were like, oh, let us help you. Let us get our flight. Do you want us to call it? What do you want us to do? And I'm like, I'm the last person you want to give your number to.
So
it was just
speaking of sorry, like on the topic of Matt and Franny. So the night before the episode, like viewing party and stuff like that, Bryce and Wendell hosted their annual like Bryce and Wen party. So it's just a fun time with like RHAP people, like, and like Survivor alumni. But y'all, I was so enamored by, like, not in a creepy way, in like a cute, like, oh, they're so sweet way, but like everybody's like dancing on the dance floor, like going crazy, like having fun and stuff like that. And then in the corner is Matt and Franny, like just totally like nobody else in the room. They're just like dancing with each other and like looking at each other with such like just like cute, like romantic, like joy. It was so sweet. Like Matt and Franny are like the real deal. Like they are in love.
People thought we were in love, Tyler. They thought we were married.
And people probably thought that about Beth and I on the flight together too.
Oh,
Poor Tyler.
Okay, time out. No, Tyler and I discussed this. We
We're a
know that
throuple.
he's straight presenting. Okay, we know. Okay, and he's a very attractive man, so we would both be,
stop
it makes sense. You better believe the best picture of Tyler was taken by me as a selfie before we were flying.
It is true. That was the peak of my modeling portfolio, was that shot.
I literally took this picture. Now, let's just pretend, okay? First of all, before we even got there, Tyler
King George
Whoa!
from Australia
Wait, he
thought
did?
we were married.
He thought y'all were married. I thought he thought what? I knew he thought. Wait, I knew he knew.
King George
Tyler was
definitely.
married.
Yeah. Because he saw my ring, he was like, "Oh, you're married. That's boring."
But I thought he knew you were gay. This puts a whole new twist on it.
No, he definitely knew I was gay.
He's so bizarre.
He definitely knew.
It was just bizarre. It was very awkward because I'm thinking the same thing. Didn't he? Well, anyway, we won't go there. We don't want to say the background.
But another highlight was so while Beth was doing a ghost tour with the RHAP crew, Allison and I went to the real world houses. So here's a picture. Here's a picture of me in front of the original real world house for New Orleans. And here's a picture of Allison in front of the real world New Orleans homecoming. So it was cool to to see all of that too.
Do me a favor. Don't ever let me walk around with a big old sack like that again. That purse was fucking huge. And that thing was like the fourth member of the group.
It was
huge. I look like a bag lady.
No, you look like most women who carry big bags around, which is like most women.
Terrible.
It's the portion sizes that are off because Allison's so tiny,
That's true.
And Allison got to meet Mike Bloom.
Yay!
Such a cute moment.
Mike!
And also Beth did a great job. I took a picture of her while she was during the commercial breaks, they brought up the different RHAP podcasters to kind of MC, just give their thoughts on the fly for the episode while it was airing and stuff. So cool to see Beth in up on the stage getting the recognition that she deserves as well.
Yeah.
But it was just an overall just really great trip. And so Allison has come up to New York City previously. We've been talking about going to Tennessee, maybe Nashville or something next, but it was cool to have New Orleans as because we can always do a New York trip. We can always do a Nashville trip or something like that, something that's local to one of our homes, our spots. But New Orleans was such a fun opportunity for us to all come together, and I had so much fun. So I'm so glad that it worked out. So glad that it happened.
I got lost on the way in to the hotel. I was panicking on the phone. I was on Canal Street in the peak of traffic. People were honking at me and flipping me off. It was a nightmare. I'm like, what is this place?
It was very clear that Allison is not maybe accustomed to driving in different places, and that's absolutely understandable. But then you also have Tyler and me who are used to traveling and having to just drive in places that we're not used to. So it's a skill set you build up. It is not something. I know the first few times I tried driving in places I didn't know, I was the exact same way, if not worse. I'm pretty sure I pulled over and had a whole breakdown. But we got Allison there, and then we used valet parking with the hotel, and and it worked. We had the ticket and everything, and they never put the cost of $45 per night on our room. So we got free valet parking.
That did shock me because Tyler and I went to the
Southern hospitality.
Yeah, we went to the real world houses, and then we went up to the room. Tyler and we were hanging out, whatever, before we went to dinner. 2 hours later, we come down. My car is still sitting parked with the hazard lights on, and I'm like, "What is this?
That's the valet."
Yeah. But it was a nice. The people were very nice, and it was great, and it was a nice little hotel, and we had a good time. And I got to meet Rob Sesternino in person.
That was the highlight of the whole trip for me. Allison
my God.
It's a core memory because it was so adorable. So we ran into Rob in the lobby. I'm sorry, I'm hijacking telling this story. But,
no, you're fine.
So Allison, you were the first one to see him because we saw you go you literally jumped up in the air.
Yeah, I did that.
Rob saw me and you guys and he started to walk towards us, and then Allison saw him and had that adorable like
Yeah, it was so
and then he
cute.
looked down and saw this little hobbit.
he said,
What is this?
I just heard something. Where was that from?
Yeah, what is that?
No,
It
he was
was-
very sweet. He gave you a big hug and everything. It was cool, like to see you like excited over meeting him and stuff
He
like that.
was so incredibly touched by that too, because I mean, a lot of people are excited to see him, but like the absolute genuine like afterwards, when we went to the podcaster lunch, he asked me, he goes, well, he knew Tyler had come to the lunch, and then Tyler left early, and he went to work out, and Rob goes, wait, where did Tyler and Allison go? And I said, well, Allison left earlier today. He goes,
He asked about me.
yeah. He said, where did Tyler and Allison go? I said, Allison had to leave early this morning. And he goes, but I just saw Tyler, I thought. I was like, yeah, he was at lunch. He went to go work out. He has a weightlifting competition this coming week or something like that. And he was like, that's a dedicated man.
Had to burn off all those beignets that we had been eating and chocolate milkshakes. We ate like motherfucking pigs
Yeah,
that whole week, and I have no shame about it whatsoever.
I have no shame about it, and I also didn't work out.
Yeah, I didn't either.
We did a lot of walking though, so
We did do a lot of walking.
Yeah. But yeah, so it was a great trip, and I agree, Allison, like a highlight was definitely meeting like some of our viewers and patrons, and especially Kylan. Like, it was so freaking sweet. Always cool to like put a face to like the names that we see in the chat and in our patron group and stuff like that.
Yeah, we also got to see Aaron Robertson, and right after Allison, right before Allison left that first night, we got to meet, all three of us meet Aaron, and then you two went to go get a cab for Allison, and Aaron and I ended up getting on the RHAP thing, and they're like, who are you here to meet? And I was like, Aaron Robertson.
We need to talk about this cab ride.
Yeah.
Good.
We're going to talk about this cab ride. So Tyler, being sweet as he is, was going to ride back with me to the hotel and then ride back to the party. And I said, I don't want you to have to do that. I didn't even get it out of my mouth. He flags down this cab, and it's a van cab, and tosses my little ass in it. And the guy that was,
you seem trustworthy.
You seem trust. You know, after
wait, time out.
And
that's exactly what Tyler said when he came upstairs. He goes, I put Allison in a cab. He seemed trustworthy.
Yeah, so I know where I'm going at this point. You know, it's $15 flat. I've got the money in my hand the whole time. I gave the guy just a 20 just because. But we're going, and I've got the death grip on this. We're going, and I know where I am. And then all of a sudden we start turning down these winding streets, and all I could think is, I'm going to be sex trafficked. I'm getting this taken. And then I brought it up but the guy was like, and then Tyler, we're talking about it later on that night. I go, Tyler, how would you have felt if something had happened to me and I was sex trafficked? He goes, I'd be okay. I'd get therapy.
No, he didn't say I'd be okay. He went, I'd have therapy for life or something.
Yeah, that's what he said. That's it. Yeah.
But
I'd
like,
have therapy.
No. Oh, I would work so tirelessly with the authorities to try to find you.
No, like I immediately accepted that like Allison was too far gone in one way or another.
Immediately thought about how he'd get over his own pain. Like,
I'm not worried about Allison's pain.
She's gone. There is no pain.
It's
There's
like,
nothing.
oh no, bye, Allison.
Yeah.
No hope for you.
So and so the joke, the rest of the, whenever he said, oh, he'll just get therapy.
Yeah. Well, Allison, I'm glad you're alive. I'm glad you were not trafficked. And yeah. So
There's a lot of one-way
Beth,
streets.
are you watching something?
There's a lot
I'm
of
watching the premiere for 46.
There's a lot of one-way streets in New Orleans. And one incident in the cab was we were going down a one-way street and this car turned the wrong way and was coming right towards us, and we had to stop. And that's when my butthole started tingling because I was like, oh, this is what it happens. This is what happens. Somebody comes down the wrong way, cuts us off, and rips
Yeah.
me.
If
rips
somebody
me
comes
from
down the
freaking
wrong way,
van.
your butt does tingle
Yeah,
sometimes.
I got scared. I like broke out in a sweat. And I was like, oh my God, it's happening. This is it. And then the guy backed up and he goes, yeah, he was going the wrong way. And I was like, yeah, okay. Anywhere close to the hotel, yeah.
He was like, I was like, the Moxie, and he's like, oh yeah, the Moxie, and I was like, okay. He sounds like he knows where, like,
Up the stairs. I put her in a cab. You seem trustworthy.
like literally like 30 seconds later, I'm like, I had made this whole grand, like, Beth, I'm gonna drive with her like to the hotel. I'm gonna make sure she's safe and fine, and then I'm gonna come back and party. It's gonna be great. And then like I go down the stairs and literally like the cab is like right outside the front door.
Oh, there's a cab.
Allison jumps in. She's like, it's fine. It's okay.
Also, can we talk about the fact that at that night, I was one of the people who fell victim, like Mike Bloom, to the like shot girl that goes around for the test tube shots. And I took one. I was like, oh, cool. That's fine. She's like, yeah, it's $2. And I go, oh, okay. And then everybody else in the general vicinity, including King George and like 3 other people, started taking test tube shots. And I was like, okay, so I'll do another one with everybody. So Tyler, myself, King George, and like 3 other people for the RHAP story do one of those test tube shots. And King George looked at the girl and went, she's covering it. So I had to pay for everybody's test tube shot.
No.
But this was before we saw the real King George. And that also is included with the real King George. But for me, I also just kind of laughed and thought to myself, like, oh, that's so cool. I bought him a shot. And I'm like,
yeah. Some other cool like alumni that were there were like, I loved like chatting with Owen for a little bit.
Owen, can I tell like my Owen story?
Yeah.
So Owen and I,
you don't need my permission.
we were chatting at the party, and because I used to work in college admissions, and he works for college admissions at Tulane. And I said, I don't miss those days. And then I went to fundraising, and he was like, oh, I hate you. It was a whole thing because we were laughing about higher education in general. And then he goes, where do you work? And I said, St. Lawrence University. And he goes, oh my God, I know somebody who works at St. Lawrence University. And I went, I know everybody in the office. Guaranteed, I know them very well. And he goes, do you know Lindsay Malcolm? And I was like, yes, Lindsay and I have been very good friends since we both graduated from St. Lawrence in 2010 and worked in the admissions office together, both as students and as professionals. So he's like, she has become one of my dearest friends. Like we met on the road, whole 9 yards. So he was like, can I have a selfie with you? And I was like, sure. So we took a selfie. He sent it to Lindsay. Lindsay is a mother of 2, one of which is like a 4-month-old baby. So she's not exactly up at midnight. So the next morning I wake up to her being like, what is this? And I was like, how did you not know to introduce us? But yeah. I knew somebody.
That's a small world.
So Owen and I have connected through the power of the wonderful Lindsay Malcolm. Shout out to Lindsay.
There you go.
I got to meet, oh God, what's his name?
Brandon.
Jake. Brandon, the football player, retired football player from season 45. Was it 45? 43, sorry. And I froze. I got real nervous and I didn't want to go.
Right?
I don't usually get nervous like that because I literally screamed at Drew and Jake to come take a picture with me. Did I not?
Yeah, you did.
I couldn't scream.
Beth, you're right, 44.
Yeah, I couldn't scream at him. At who was it again, Daniel?
Brandon.
Damn it. Brandon. I got my picture taken with him and I'll post that. But he was so
and
sweet.
Josh was there too. Gabby Pascuzzi and Davey and Christian were all there from David versus Goliath.
Yeah.
Lindsay.
America and Corey from
America and Corey.
We don't care.
Mm-hmm.
They were awesome. They cool. After this is the other thing. So at the podcaster lunch, there was an optional, if you want to do this, you could get something in New Orleans or bring something, but it was like a Yankee swap idea. And it was any of the podcasters or the Survivor players who were there could participate. And the only two Survivor cast members that participated were Jemaya and Emily. And then it was a whole bunch of us that just had thrown in like $15 for like a gift or whatever, right? And I ended up with the gift that Puya bought 3 minutes beforehand, which was a shirt that said, "Fuck you, you fucking fuck." And then it said Bourbon Street, New Orleans at the bottom. But inside the shirt, wrapped up around it, was a Smirnoff Ice. So I got iced in the middle of this mall where I took a knee and I did chug the entirety of the Smirnoff Ice.
Oh God.
Tasted like 2010, which was the last time I had a Smirnoff Ice. And as I finished, I noticed Corey in America right next to me, and America was like, "You did that, girl." All of these Survivor players in America and Corey were like, "Yeah!" And I was
That's
like,
funny.
And so that was a moment.
Allison's like, "No, thank you."
Smirnoff Ice.
Yeah, that reminds me of my college days too.
What's funny is that Puya ended up with my gift, which were those electronic drumsticks or whatever. So we ended up with each other's gifts at the end of the day, which I thought was weird and funny.
There you go. All right. Should we talk Survivor 45?
Oh, one more thing. On that ghost tour that I was on, I found actual spear orbs on my camera from a really haunted
that was
bar.
spooky.
It's
Spooky.
legit. So scary. Spooky.
Okay, so Survivor 45. I am the reigning draft winner here. That is the big news.
Finally, somebody else can take the baton. It's too heavy for me to carry. I need a break.
Well, I will gladly carry it for now, Allison. But no, I have to say, I think and I would love to hear y'all's thoughts on this. I think Dee is a top 10 winner of
Agreed.
Survivor.
Agreed.
She is the definition of a triple threat player, easily the best winner we've had in the modern era. But like, she just played such a dominating performance from start to finish, even within this like huge majority alliance structure that ran the entire game. She was two people's number ones within that group. She was never in danger within her majority alliance. She navigated that whole like Julie, Austin, Idol situation flawlessly. She had the most amount of immunity wins this season with 3. I mean, like,
she sat next to somebody who arguably had a very similar game to her and was able to point out in every way how he was inferior to her. Whereas going into that, had she not done that, she very easily could have just fallen victim to like, girl doesn't get as much credit as guy does for doing the same thing.
Yeah. So very, very proud of Dee's performance. Like, I think Allison.
I got a cat.
Sorry. No, you're good. You're good. I just like, I cannot say enough good things about how like spotless Dee's game was.
I think she played a game very similar to Jeremy and to Sarah, and both of them won on their second time coming back playing that game and couldn't get it done the first time. And I think she should get more kudos for that. So I put her in, quite frankly, I think she's in like my top 6. I would give her like 6. Like she is a very dominant player. Versus Austin, who played a really similar game, he would have been top 15 for me, but he wouldn't have been like 6.
Yeah.
If Jake had won, which would have made my heart very happy, I would not have been able to place him very high. But that would have made my heart very happy.
I think I have her as number 9. I have her right behind JT. Do you want my top 10?
Still have never seen Tocantins, so I can't speak to Bob or to JT because those are the only 2 seasons I've never seen.
Yeah. So I have Kim Spradlin as number 1, Parvati number 2, Tom number 3, Sarah Lucina number 4, Earl number 5, Tyson number 6, Jeremy number 7, JT 8, and Dee at 9, with Yule at 10.
I think that Parvati gets too much credit for, I mean, she played a really good game in Micronesia, but I think her game in Heroes versus Villains is incredible. Her game in Micronesia was Cerie's game, and then she was able to break from it.
That's true. Maybe I need to revisit that. Yeah, but anyway, Dee, like I'm happy that she won. Like I cannot think of any point where like I said on this show, like this entire season, like Dee should have done this instead. Like she executed like every stage of the game so perfectly. And honestly, like if she were to return, my money would be on her to do pretty well in like any season moving forward. Like I think she's a really, really gifted Survivor player.
For sure.
How do we feel about the other two? So Austin and Jake made it to Final Tribal as well. Dude, Jake had such a journey this season.
I know,
and
right?
he was such an interesting character to watch.
How he won that first challenge at the beginning of the episode on the beach with the that blew me away. I was like, whoa. That was really impressive. I like Jake. Jake was so sweet when I met him. I sent him the pictures that I'd taken with him on Instagram, and he replied back to me. He was super sweet, super nice. He's not stuck up at all. He's just a really cool, sweet guy. Yeah, I really like him a lot. And I was like, man, I wish he'd won. I was like, it would have been great. It would have been great for me. But anyway, getting to my picture. But anyway, no, I think that he had a good arc. He really tried. He doing the fire. And I mean, sometimes we get wrapped up in, I need something on my resume and I got to make a big move but I feel like he just did good on it. I have to say though, during that last immunity challenge, when he was like, fuck it. And he was just walking on top of the rack thing and he broke it. And Jeff was like, you're out. And he's like, okay, I was just trying to go quick. Jeff's like, I know. And then there in the other challenge, that little blue block was right there the whole time. And Jeff, being Jeff, had to walk over there and go, you see this? You see this? It was here the whole time. Thanks, Jeff. You know what? This has been here the whole time too, and I've been waiting to get it out.
He literally looked like he was gonna like start sobbing once Jeff was like laying into him. I felt so bad. Like what I loved about Jake was he was just so like emotionally vulnerable this entire like journey.
I'm sorry,
and that's
hold
something
on. JoJo just unplugged my light. Y'all keep on.
You good. No, and I just loved like that his like authentic like reaction for like everything. This season.
That's
he really went through it.
Like,
I'm gonna mute Allison while
probably a good idea. I also I really liked that his journey in his game. I know he didn't get a vote, but you could tell that the jury really respected him. Like it wasn't like he was some goat to bring to the end, right? Like he was somebody who fought incredibly hard and tried. And it wasn't like, I would say he was a way more strategic and more successful at failing in a good way than Owen. Like Owen could never get a plan in motion, but it's like he would kind of not try or give up. There was no doubt that Jake was putting every ounce of his being and character into trying to do something. And I just props to this cast, to this jury for clearly respecting that, because that's not normally a game that people like think positively on that makes it to Final Three. And I think a lot of that kind of social at the end of the day.
I wish you would have gotten one vote.
That's what I wished. Actually,
who's that guy that yelled his name out? Caleb, yeah. I was like, does that mean he's voting for him? It's like, how does he not get one vote? I guess if he had gotten a vote, it would have been a tie. No, it wouldn't have. Would it? Yeah, it would have. Would it not have been a tie?
Oh, it would have been. Yeah, and he would have given the tie. Yeah, it would have been 4 Austin, 4 Dee, 1 Jake. So if he had gotten one vote, he would have had to cast the deciding vote.
Yeah, that's true. That's where I thought it was going for like that last like vote read. And how like exciting would it have been if like that would have been such a better ending than like Ghost Island, you know what I mean? Like when that tie happened, like
what happens if there's a tie?
So Jake would become like the next juror, and Jake would cast the deciding vote between Dee and Austin.
How's that fair?
How else would they do it?
Do a revote.
You can't do it. That's not how it works.
And then everyone vote for Jake.
No.
All right, everybody vote again, and then everybody votes for Jake. Everybody's like, LOL, JK. Can you imagine?
Psych.
Actually, if they were going to do it, they would have to do it by revote rules, which means that Jake would have been eliminated from voting and everybody else would have had to revote. And it would have been whoever voted for Jake would have been the deciding factor.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But that's not actually how it happens. How it happens is exactly how Tyler was laying out, because that's how they did it in Ghost Island. Laurel didn't receive any votes in the final 3, and Wendell and Dominic tied, and so Laurel at the live finale in front of an audience had to cast her vote.
That's so cool. Okay.
And I got to meet Wendell too. He's so sweet.
Wendell
Actually, that's not true. She didn't say it at the live. She did it before. She went and cast her vote, and then they put it.
That's right. Yeah, because Jeff was like, "All right, we're gonna do something a little unusual," which is like usual now. He was like, "I'm gonna read the votes now," and everybody was like, "What?" I remember that.
Yeah.
So like, I guess like, should we just kind of like spitfire some like highlights from the season? Because honestly, like, okay, like as much as I shit on Modern Survivor, like this was easily my favorite. This was Modern Survivor season. Like this
was my favorite season too. I've heard a lot of people kind of shit on it, and I'm like,
we had a rough start.
Yeah,
I think it's hilarious. People shit on this show, and then we'll be like, "I'm gonna watch Big Brother." I'm like, this is so much better of a show than Big Brother has been in the modern years. Like infinitely better. In every fucking way possible. It's amazing to me that there will still be people who will be like,
is it better than Reindeer Games?
But let me tell you something.
I don't know. I haven't watched it.
I'm telling you right now, Frankie Grande is winning Reindeer Games.
I hear Nicole Franzel is.
No, Frankie's winning. Frankie's winning.
I think it's Frankie.
Yeah, he's winning. That's it. Okay, anyway.
God damn it! If Nicole isn't going to get herself there at the end every single time, you know.
Yeah, but she beat Josh Martinez. Martinez hugging that big old. Was I not the only one that was kind of laughing dirtily?
Wait, I have a funny like tweet that Matt Lugori posted.
They had to hug a giant candy cane.
It was like an endurance comp, and Nicole beat him in that.
They had the grip, and they kept going, "I just can't get the grip." And I keep slipping off, and I got to get a grip. And it's just Nicole pulling her pants up so she can get her legs all the way. It's just made me laugh. I'm like, I'm a 13-year-old boy right now. I can't.
Not worry. He tweeted this. He was like, Josh's elimination losses in visual form. It's like all these like tough guys, and then Nicole Franzel.
I know, right? I'm like, how, dude? How?
But no, like I like this cast for Survivor 45 was just so stellar. Like there were such few duds compared to like the other modern seasons that like, you know, like I feel like half of the cast is good and half of the cast is like forgettable. See, I feel like a majority of the cast this year was so memorable to me. Even the quitters, like as much as I want to like shit on Sean, like it was still like a memorable episode, a memorable character, but like I feel like the boot order was just right too in terms of this cast.
I do think
what do you think
that I do think that 44's cast was stellar, like from beginning to end. That's the Franny and Matt and Brandon. Maddie is the first boot, and she's like incredible. And then you have the Tika 3 as like, you know, and Heidi, and you have. I think that was like an incredible cast as well. I really do think that they are settling into better understanding how to run the new era, and very similar to how the 20s were. I felt like the 20s, the first few seasons were really rough, and then Philippines turns that shit around, and so you have a stellar winner in the season beforehand, Jam Kim, and then you have this season where like the whole show is working, the whole cast is working.
Yeah,
you know,
that's a good comparison. That makes sense.
In New Orleans, I would have peed my pants
if Jam had been there.
Oh my god,
I got to meet him at the CVS thing. That was.
Did you? Oh my god.
Another standout to me was like Emily this season. Like she was just such a great, compelling character, and like that episode where she went home was the one that we watched live with RHAP, and what a perfect episode to see. I also just want to like, I've been giving Julie props this whole season on the show. Like I thought she was a great player as well. Caleb, like with the whole like the shot in the dark like and nullifying 11 votes. That was awesome.
Can I say something about Julie really quickly?
Yeah.
I loved the moment tonight where she had this absolute sense of clarity about saying, I know that going into Final Tribal as the mom character, I need to have somebody that I kept faith with the entire time, or else I'm not going to get any votes. Like, she knew that. She knew she would have to be able to show loyalty to one person and say, yeah, I had to play a disloyal game. And the fact that she also diffused a little bit of the mom stereotype a couple tribals back. If she had made it to that final 3 with that law background and also dropping that she's a lawyer and all these different kinds of things, I think she could have been a real contender.
For sure. Absolutely. I totally agree. Yeah. Gosh. Another thing that was interesting to me was like Drew and Austin's dynamic was really so like Weston says like archetype meta, right? Like, and that's what like Julie was kind of like talking about in the finale, like you just said, Beth. The archetype meta of like Drew and Austin, like the nerdy guy and like the strong physical guy. And usually, so I feel like Drew fell into more of like the villain category than we typically see. Like we typically see the nerdy character is like somebody like Christian, right? Like somebody that's like a likable, funny nerd. And then like the jockey bro guy is more villainous. Think like Jonathan from Survivor 42? 43.
No, 42. You're right.
42.
9.
Yeah. So
9,
it was cool to like it was cool to like have like those personalities kind of flipped. You know what I mean? Like Drew was like the nerdy guy who was also the villain, and Austin, like the strong like jockey guy, was actually a really nice, cool, like genuine guy and not like a douchebag, you know?
Yeah.
So like that was interesting and refreshing as well. Katura, like how many like compelling stories she had this season.
Jesus. She was there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was there. Wow.
I had a really great conversation with her at the lunch. We were waiting in line for our food. And then as we got our food, we just stood there and talked to each other for like a good 5-10 minutes.
Mhm.
But what an incredible person. Katura, if you ever see this, I'm also in Brooklyn. Let's hang out.
Mhm.
I adore her. I think she's
incredible.
great. She's great.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't get to meet her or anything. I was a little intimidated by her and Emily and some other people who were across from us. And I was just like, man, if I don't have the balls to go over there and say anything to these people. Plus, I'm not a big Austin fan, and he was over there.
Why
Not
are you
in-
an Austin fan?
Because I tried to get a picture with him and Jake and Drew, and he just walked off like he ignored me.
I don't
When
think
we
he
were
heard
heading to
you.
the car.
Remember?
Yeah, I don't think
You
he
know
heard
what
you.
I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't think he heard you. I don't
I
think
don't think that was intentional.
Everyone heard me, Beth. You cannot unhear me when I'm screaming your
I
name.
can't unhear you in general.
Yes.
I also feel like you weren't the only person that weekend that
On a
was yelling his
constant
names.
True.
loop. But I've never been a big Austin fan anyway. And I'm not shitting on the guy. I'm not attacking him personally, but I'm just not a big fan. I feel like his girlfriend took him to the final 3, and that's fine. It is what it is.
I don't think they're
he
together.
earned his spot. But I mean, I don't know. I'm just not a big fan. Not a big
No,
fan.
that's okay. Yeah. The return of Bruce was really exciting and fun as well.
Mm-hmm.
He was such a funny like fold this. It was kind of similar to like Cameron's role in BB25. Like the game just could not progress until Cameron/Bruce went home, and it was such like a funny like fixation, especially on Katura's part.
Yeah.
But like her and Kelly could not just work with Bruce, and ultimately that's what led to the Reba 4's success. I think, unfortunately, is like that Blue Tribe could just not get on the same damn.
That
page.
was my favorite part of the jury questioning, when all of the Bellas who are on the jury are like, how did you guys stick together? Like,
Yeah, what?
tell us about the Reba tribe. How you guys were able to stick together? And they're like, I don't know. We talked and we trusted each other. And they're like, we totally didn't get that. It's
No.
like, yeah,
You
because
do
you
that
guys
in
were
this
all pointing the gun at each other.
What a
my God.
concept.
And Julie asking Austin and Dee how far they'd gone.
That was awesome. I literally texted in our group chat. I went, y'all fuck.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Y'all fuck.
I want you guys to know that if I ever get cast on a show like this and I get a chance, you better fucking believe they give me that card on Big Brother. I'm throwing. They all agreed upon these. Fuck that. I'm asking my own question. You give me the spotlight, I'm gonna go there and go. Y'all fucking that house?
Y'all fucking.
Y'all fucking? We're gonna bring out the blue light next. Allison, let me borrow it.
Dude, that's gonna be my luxury item on the island if I ever make it on Survivor. I'm gonna be out in the middle of the night. They're gonna think I'm looking for an idol. That ain't what I'm looking for.
They're gonna be like, the best part is you're gonna be like, I use this to try to figure out where to take a shit. And then they're gonna be like, that's Allison's shit flashlight. And then little do they know it's not really a flashlight.
I just looking for a clean place to lay down. It hasn't been
spunked on.
Spunked on. Okay, let's update our drafts here. So here was the final draft here. So I am the winner. And then more interestingly is the patron draft.
Whoa.
Look at that. The third pick for all three were the final three. What are the odds of that?
That's so cool. So congratulations to Liza.
Congratulations. You won the draft.
Before we end, today I gave this a little bit too much thought and I tweeted this out, but I came up with what like senior superlatives for each of the cast members from this season. So I did kindest was Hannah. Most school spirit was Brandon. Most ambitious was Sabaya. Most likely to get married next is Sean, which normally would be first, but I said next because I'm sure there are people who are married here. Teacher's pet, Brando. Most musically talented, J. Maya. Most likely to survive a zombie apocalypse, Sifu. Best smile, Caleb. Leader of the pack, Kelly. Best personality, Kendra. Class clown, Bruce. Most likely to succeed, Emily. Best friends, Drew and Austin. Most entertaining, Jake. Most likely to become president, Katura. Most likely to brighten your day, Julie. And most likely to become a millionaire, D.
Nice.
And I was right about that last one.
I love that. I love that.
Jake is a goat in wolf and goat's clothing.
He's a goat in wolf's clothing. And we were like, what?
It's a sheep,
my
right?
view was last
It's a
week.
sheep, but didn't he also say it the wrong way? Like he flipped it around. He's like, I'm a
No,
goat.
I tried
I'm
to
a
screw
goat in
that up.
wolf's clothing. And we're like,
I just want to say when he was talking about last week, when he was talking about how he was in a play once, like he had like what I do, conversation ADD. I start talking about one thing and I'm like, oh, but this reminds me, I did it. And then I get right back into what I was talking about. I was like, I could so relate.
It was so great. And the best part about that is because he was talking about being in his underwear in front of an audience. And then he puts the idol down his pants. And he literally is like, when he tweeted the clip of him getting and putting it in his crotch, he's like, this is my crotch idol. And he put it in there. He literally was like going into tribal council packing.
And then he goes up to Jeff and he goes, can you validate this, Jeff? I wonder if Jeff knew he'd been in his pants.
Probably. They're probably like, just so you know, hand sanitizer right there, buddy. After
there's might be some hairs on it.
Would you imagine?
Like a bottle of Purell.
He just pulls it out from that little stand that he stands at. Jeff does. He's like, hold on.
Why doesn't he do that before he tallies the votes?
That'd be so funny.
These are the
like,
questions.
Does anybody have the Clorox wipes anywhere? Come on. Gotta.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, I think that's a wrap on 45. Any other thoughts before we sign off for the year, for the holidays?
Best season since David versus Goliath.
Whew. I'm one of those weirdos that says like, even though the journey was not fun, I still think like Survivor 40 is like pretty.
Winners at War is amazing, but I mean in terms of
like the legacy, you know.
Yeah.
I thought it was an for having to sit through 90-minute episodes. I thought it was pretty entertaining. Could have cut some stuff out, but I don't know.
Yeah. So I think the next thing on our agenda to cover is the Traitors season 2. So I think that's the next time you guys on this channel will probably see us, is us covering that. I think it starts January 12th or something like that. So we'll be hibernating for like
I'm gonna have
two-ish
Traitors
weeks.
2 and Drag Race start the same week. I'm
It
about
is
to come
always
into
Drag
my
Race.
final four.
But it's gonna be worth it. Like the Traitors 2 is gonna be so good. Like
I
I'm
know
so
Peppermint's gonna
excited
be
to cover
on.
that.
It's like my worlds are all combining.
Right? Yes, please cast more drag queens on these like shows that have like all the reality TV people.
Put
on, 'cause
Gia
it's so
Gunn
entertaining.
on Villains, House of Villains.
Absolutely.
Well, what you want to do is not necessarily what you're gonna do.
If you're watching season 6, it was on the Paramount Plus like
Oh, was
live
it?
channel. I fucking love Gia Gunn. She's probably my favorite Drag Race.
You gotta
Player.
watch All Stars 4. It's
I
so
know,
good.
I want to. But yeah. So any other thoughts before the? This is our last show of 2023.
I don't really have any. I thought we were gonna do a one more BS breakdown before
We can do a BS breakdown. Maybe.
I could be talked into that.
I think it'd be fun to do like a what are our resolutions?
Ooh, okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's aim for like a BS breakdown to like New Year's resolutions, and I like
talk about our years.
Yeah, talk about our years, but also because I'm me, I would like to just like put like a bow on 2023 in terms of reality TV in general.
Yeah.
So just like over the next like week or so, just think of, like for me, I want to like think of some like just highlights from like Survivor 44, 45, BB 25.
I think what we should do is write out like 3 or 4 questions that we all should answer, but we have one answer that we all like. So it'll be like, who's your favorite winner of any show from this year? Tyler,
okay.
you go, like that kind of thing. So we can write those out ahead of time, and if patrons have any suggestions, you could put it in.
Yeah, I would love to. Like, yeah, we should ask our patrons those questions too, so we can like talk about their answers on air too.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we got some homework to do, but all right. Well, anything else? I feel like I'm hogging the mic here. Allison, anything else?
I'm thinking. I hope everyone has a wonderful Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, or whatever you celebrate. And
Happy Yule tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna need a platform and a microphone after Christmas to bitch. So this would be perfect time. Like, yeah, we're definitely doing one more show.
Cool. Okay. I'm done.
Happy holidays.
I couldn't get him in my therapist, so we're gonna have to do another.
Yeah, my therapist. I'm not seeing her till January 5th. So yeah, you're it.
All right. Well, we'll check us out on Twitter. We'll tell you when that show's coming up and everything.
Podcast Mafia.
What is that?
With Matt and I.
Oh.
Yeah.
With Matt and I. All right.
This is the Rob Sesternino gift to the podcasters this year.
Oh, I just noticed the hands on it.
Yeah, the hands.
Yeah.
With so Matt and I. It's so funny. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. All right. Love you guys. We'll see you when we see you, and bye-bye.
Bye.